Hey everyone, welcome to the top 10 list. Welcome to my top 10 best and worst Fox Kids TV shows. Yes, Fox Kids. Yes, I just watched the Nostalgia Critic. Yes, I'm still watching Nostalgia Critic. And he just did a whole video talking about Fox Kids TV shows. Shows that he grew up with and shows that I grew up with. And after watching this video, I actually wanted to make my own list. He didn't make a list. He mostly just talked about some of the shows that was on Fox Kids, new generation, old generation, and stuff. And I thought I'd just do my top 10, in my opinion, of my favorite and least favorite shows that were on Fox Kids. Because, again, just like Disney Afternoon, Disney's One Saturday Morning shows, all those kind of stuff, Nickelodeon. I grew up with all this shit, and I thought I'd just talk about it. Because I did a lot of TV watching as a child. I did more TV watching than movie watching, so I watched a lot of shows on Fox Kids. Mostly the good ones, but I will get to the bad ones. But yeah, I'm going to start with the best, in my opinion. So yeah, this is my opinion of the top 10 best shows that was on Fox Kids. So yeah, for a top 10 list, you gotta have your... And my honorable mentions are Dog City, Tasmania, Sonic X, Beetlejuice, Beast Wars, Beast Machines, and the Magic School Bus. Yes, right on the Magic School Bus. Great show, just gonna make the top 10 list. But my top 10 is my number 10. My number 10 is The Tiny Toon Adventures. Come on, that song!
We're tiny, we're toony, we're all a little loony.
Amazing, yes, we're tiny and toony, we're all a little loony. Yes, love the Looney Tunes, grew up with the Looney Tunes. I wish I grew up in that era of the Looney Tunes, like the 60s and stuff, but I always loved Looney Tunes, and I always loved the characters, and the Tiny Toons are just the tiny versions of the Looney Tunes. Great characters, funny stories, good commentary, good satire, and it's just fun. It doesn't make your kids dumb watching it. It's not stupid and juvenile. It teaches them lessons, but also has good comedy. And adults can watch it too, because I've recently watched episodes of Tiny Toons, and it still holds up, and it's still great, still flashy, fast-paced, got good slapstick and good visuals, and yeah, it's just a kick-ass show, and I still love it to this day.
And now our song is done.
Coming in number 9, should come in no shock, because I'm Canadian, is Goosebumps. Yes, Goosebumps. Oh, love this show. Another great theme. That theme is just so kick-ass. It's the Twilight Zone, but for kids. It's not very scary, but it's still entertaining. I loved reading the books as a kid, and some good some well-known Canadian actors starred in Goosebumps, like Hayden Christensen and Ryan Gosling. And yeah, it's a super fun show. Got great episodes. Like The Haunted Mask is like one of my favorites. Say Cheese and Die is a great one. The Cuckoo Clock is a great one. The part 2 of The Haunted Mask is a really great one. The werewolf one is so kick-ass too. Even the one with the sponge is pretty fun. And then of course when they go to the amusement park, the family goes to the amusement park, one of my favorites as well. And just, it's got good ideas. It's like, again, it's like the Twilight Zone. It's an anthology story, different stories with different characters, and just a fun time and a fun show that I always grew up with. It's got great nostalgia. Not Even Living Dummy, that I can't forget that. It was Slappy, Jesus. And yeah, I actually enjoyed the Goosebumps movie. I thought it was very loyal with the show. And yeah, the show still to this day, again, it holds up. Coming in number 8 is a very odd choice, but I kind of loved it as a kid, and that's Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd Century. That just alone sounds ridiculous, but it's fun. I liked the animation, and I liked the idea at Sherlock Holmes in the future and stuff, and that's just, it's such a cool concept. And I love mystery, and this had a lot of good mystery elements, hence why I watched like Scooby-Doo as a very small child and stuff, even though the mystery in that shows was very obvious. They actually had good twists and turns in this show, and the animation was really good, and I liked the characters, and I liked how they did Sherlock Holmes in the show, and it's a ridiculous idea, but it really worked for me, and I loved it as a kid, and again, I still think to this day, it holds up. Coming in number 7 is Digimon Tamers. Yes, Digitamers is what we used to call it. I'm not the biggest Digimon fan. Like, I don't like Pokemon. Like, I am not a Pokemon fan. I loved it as a kid, fucking hate it now. Digimon was basically the same. I loved it as a kid. I don't hate it now. I just don't think it's that great, but it's fine. Digitamers was the best thing Digimon ever did. This show is fantastic. It's darker, it's more raw, it's great for all ages. Basically, like the first 2 seasons didn't exist in this world and stuff, and basically their Digimon comes to the real world and everything, and then they have to go into the digital world to save the digital world and everything, and their Digimon have a connection with the Digitamers and stuff, and that's why I found it fascinating. There's a lot of grimness and dark elements to this series, and I thought it was super well done. I loved the characters, especially Takato and Guillemon. Guillemon was like the heart and soul of this show, and it's a really great show, very powerful show, and I think it's definitely the best thing Digimon has ever done. Coming in number 6 is XMen the Animated Series. This... Oh, like, so kick-ass. I loved this show. I loved how all the characters were portrayed in this show. I never could stand Jubilee, but I loved Rogue. Like, this is the perfect Rogue you'll ever see in X-Men. And Gambit's kick-ass. I love Wolverine. I love all these characters, and they brought the comics to life in this show, and it was super good. And this studio really fought hard. The creator fought hard for this show, and it ended up being one of the best shows on Fox Kids, and I love it. The animation's super good, has a perfect conclusion to the finale, and yeah, it holds up. Again, it's fantastic. Coming in number 5 is probably one of the funniest shows on Fox Kids, and that is The Tick. The Tick, they've done new adaptations of The Tick. Not all of them have worked. The recent one that came out last year, it was fine. This is the best. This is the most funniest. The way he does political satire, pop culture satire, and especially superhero satire is laugh out loud hysterical. The animation's great. The way they poke fun at a lot of things in society, especially during the 90s, is super clever, super funny, and yeah, it's just a super well-made show and definitely one of the best and one of the highlights of Fox Kids. Coming in number 4 is probably the best thing I've ever seen that involves Peter Pan, and that's Fox's Peter Pan and the Pirates. Peter Pan and the Pirates is such a good show. This is a very smart show, very mature show, one of the first shows on Fox Kids, and it knocked it out of the park. The animation was great. It had atmosphere. Probably the best Captain Hook, played by Tim Curry, ever. The way they develop these characters and flesh the characters out are super good. The action's really great. It's great for kids, but it's also very profound, and it's deep, and adults would appreciate that, and it's a very well-made show, and it sucks that there's no DVD or Blu-ray releases of the show, but hopefully we'll get some soon because this show is fantastic. Coming in number 3 is one of the very few animes that ran on Fox Kids, and that's The Visions of Escaflowne. This super good show. I didn't watch this until way, way later. My sister got me into it. She loved it. She's like, give the show a watch. I did. It's good. It is so good. Characters are fantastic. I'm not like a big thing when it comes to mech anime. That's like my least favorite kind of animes is mechas and stuff, like with robots and everything. I love like Code Geass. That's one of my favorites, but it's just not my thing. That's why I never got into like Neon Genesis Evangelion, but this was super good, and the characters were super interesting, and the story was very riveting. The animation like leaps off the screen. The hand-drawn animation is just so beautifully designed, and the opening just hooks you from right when it starts, it hooks you with the story, and I think it's a fantastic show, and easily one of the best that was on Fox Kids. Coming in number 2 is probably the best written show on Fox Kids, and that is Animaniacs. Come on, it's time for Animaniacs. It's so good. Yakko, Wacko, and Dot. A lot of great segments, a lot of great characters. You got like Pinky and the Brain and stuff, and the good idea, bad idea. Like, Spielberg had a lot of faith in this show, all the writers did, and for good reason. Again, the pop culture references, the satires, the way they poke fun of a lot of great films out there. Even films like fucking the Seventh Seal, Gone with the Wind, and Pulp Fiction. Like, they rip on a lot of films and a lot of references in this kid's show, and it's so funny. Everything that works in the show. Pinky and the Brain was one of my highlights, but this show is just so good. I've talked to death about it, so don't need to talk about it too much, but Animaniacs, second best show on Fox Kids. And my number one favorite show on Fox Kids is super obvious. It's Batman the Animated Series, obviously. This is the best. It went to Warner Brothers after, but it started on Fox Kids, and it's genius, this show. This is the perfect Batman story, is Batman the Animated Series. If anyone says, who is my favorite Batman, it's Kevin Conroy. Kevin Conroy is the Batman I know and love, and I grew up with. Kevin Conroy is the true Batman. And same with Mark Hamill. Even though I love Heath Ledger's Joker, Mark Hamill's been the Joker I've always known. Jack Nicholson too, but Heath Ledger just did better. But Mark Hamill's the Joker I grew up with. And this series I grew up with. This is the comic books brought to life. Just like what X-Men did. That's why I love X-Men so much. And because I grew up on X-Men comics, Spider-Man comics, and Batman comics. And that's why I loved this show so much. It's because it's the comics put right on the screen for me on my television. And a lot of people are probably thinking, what do I think of the Spider-Man show? And I love Spider-Man, and I love Spider-Man comics. That show is fine. I think it is too fast-paced, and they talk too fucking much in that show. That's my problem with Spider-Man, the animated series, that came in the 90s on Fox Kids. It's they throw so much at you. They don't take their time with the show. There's no atmosphere. You don't care, even though it's very loyal with the comics. But it's too fast, and the dialogue's too fast. They explain way too much. They are very much slower with this show. They take their time with this show, and they only have like 25 minutes per episode, but they really have a lot of good atmospheric episodes and a lot of great characters, and they explore all these villains. Like my favorite villain, Mr. Freeze. Like, Mr. Freeze, everyone thinks of Mr. Freeze, they think of Arnold Schwarzenegger saying fucking ice puns at Batman and Robin, but no, he's a truly riveting character. And the only thing the only time you ever see this in the comics and in this show, he is such a great character and one of the best villains in this show, because the show fleshed him out like he's fleshed out in the comics. And this show is fantastic. The animation is grand and gorgeous, the action is slick, and the voice acting is fantastic, especially Kevin Conroy. And yeah, it's Batman, and it's easily the best thing Fox Kids has ever done. So yeah, that's my top 10 best Fox Kids TV shows in my opinion. So in the comment section below, please tell me, did you agree with this top 10 list? If not, give me you guys top 10 favorite Fox Kids TV shows in your opinion. Comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like this video, please subscribe to this channel and join the dark side.